Have you ever been so angry your hands shook, or so heartbroken that your chest physically hurt? Those feelings aren't just in your head. Scientists now know that emotions can have serious effects on your physical health. And in extreme cases, they can even kill you. It sounds wild, but it's true. Emotions like stress, fear, and grief don't just mess with your mood. They hit your nervous system, your heart, and even your immune system. This isn't just about feeling bad. It's about real, measurable damage your body takes when certain emotions take over for too long. So today, let's walk through the science behind emotions that can actually be deadly. These aren't rare cases either. Some of these are things we deal with every day without realizing how dangerous they really are. Here are 10 emotions that can literally kill you and why you should take them seriously. 10. Rage. Let's start with one that most of us have felt at some point. Rage. Not just mild anger, but full-blown, out-of-control fury. When you get that angry, your body jumps into fight-or-flight mode. Adrenaline floods your system, your heart starts racing, and your blood vessels tighten. That's your body getting ready for battle. But here's the problem. If your heart's already vulnerable, that sudden rush of stress hormones can push it over the edge. Studies have shown that the risk of a heart attack is almost 5 times higher in the 2 hours after an episode of extreme anger. For people with heart disease, that's a dangerous spike. Rage also increases your risk of stroke. If a blood vessel in your brain bursts under pressure, the damage can be permanent or fatal. 9. Shame. This one doesn't get talked about as much, but it should. Shame is a powerful emotion. It's that deep feeling of worthlessness, like you've done something so bad you don't deserve forgiveness. It often shows up alongside depression and anxiety, but shame by itself can damage your health. Chronic shame has been linked to high levels of cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. When cortisol stays high for too long, it affects everything: your heart, your immune system, your digestion. It even shrinks parts of your brain responsible for memory and decision-making. People who carry deep shame are more likely to isolate themselves, stop taking care of their bodies, and fall into addiction or self-harm. Over time, that emotional weight can shorten a person's life. 8. Grief. Losing someone you love can feel like your world just stopped, and in a way, your body does respond like something terrible has happened. That's because grief is more than sadness. It's a full-body reaction to a major emotional loss. There's a real condition called broken heart syndrome, where the heart muscle becomes suddenly weakened after intense emotional stress, usually the death of a loved one. It mimics a heart attack. People feel chest pain, shortness of breath, and a drop in blood pressure. Most recover, but in some cases, especially for older people or those with heart conditions, it can be fatal. Grief also increases inflammation throughout the body. Long-term inflammation is linked to serious diseases like cancer, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. So while grief is a natural part of life, when it becomes overwhelming and long-lasting, it can wear the body down more than people realize. 7. Anxiety. Everyone feels anxious sometimes, before a test, before a big decision, but chronic anxiety is a different beast. When anxiety is constant, when your mind is always spinning, your chest feels tight, and your sleep is wrecked, it takes a real toll. People with chronic anxiety often have higher heart rates and blood pressure. Their immune systems don't work as well, making them more likely to get sick. They're also at greater risk of digestive issues, migraines, and substance abuse. But the biggest danger is what anxiety does to the heart. Research shows that anxiety disorders are linked to a higher risk of sudden cardiac events, especially in people with pre-existing heart conditions. Anxiety also affects your decision-making. You're more likely to ignore warning signs, avoid medical care, or engage in risky behavior, all of which can make a dangerous health problem worse. 6. Loneliness. This one surprises a lot of people, but loneliness, especially long-term loneliness, is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's according to research from health experts who've been tracking how isolation affects people. Being lonely doesn't just feel bad, it changes how your body works. It raises your stress hormones, weakens your immune system, and increases inflammation. It also makes it harder for your body to repair itself after injury. Lonely people are more likely to die early from heart disease, stroke, and even certain cancers. They're also more likely to suffer from mental health problems like depression, which can spiral into dangerous territory if left untreated. And here's the scary part. You can be surrounded by people and still feel deeply lonely. It's not just about being alone, it's about feeling disconnected, like no one understands you. And that feeling is powerful enough to mess with your health in serious ways. 5. Fear. Fear is meant to protect us. It's the emotion that keeps us from jumping off cliffs or touching fire. But when fear becomes constant, it turns into something harmful. Chronic fear, like the kind that comes from trauma, abuse, or living in a dangerous environment, keeps your body in survival mode. That means your heart rate is always up, your muscles are always tense, and your brain is always scanning for threats. This wears out your nervous system. Over time, it can damage your heart, suppress your immune system, and even affect your brain's ability to form new memories. In extreme cases, fear has been known to cause sudden death. There are rare reports of people dying from sheer terror, usually during traumatic events like natural disasters or violent attacks. The heart just stops. Scientists think this is caused by a massive release of stress hormones that overwhelms the body. 4. Guilt can be useful. It helps us learn from mistakes. But when guilt becomes chronic, when someone can't forgive themselves or stop replaying something they did wrong, it turns toxic. That constant mental loop creates stress in the body, similar to anxiety. High levels of guilt are tied to insomnia, digestive issues, and immune system problems. They can also raise blood pressure and contribute to chronic pain. People who live with long-term guilt are more likely to engage in unhealthy coping behaviors, like overeating, drinking, or avoiding medical care, which all raise the risk of serious illness over time. And then there's the emotional side. Chronic guilt often leads to depression, and depression is strongly linked to early death. 3. Hopelessness. When someone feels hopeless, they believe things will never get better. That kind of emotional state doesn't just affect your mind, it impacts every part of your health. Hopelessness is linked to higher death rates from cancer, heart disease, and stroke. One reason is because hopeless people are less likely to seek treatment or make healthy lifestyle choices. But even more than that, hopelessness increases inflammation in the body and slows down healing. What's scary is how invisible this emotion can be. Someone might seem fine on the outside but feel completely empty on the inside. And without support or a sense of purpose, that emotional pain can turn deadly over time. 2. Depression. Depression is more than sadness. It's a medical condition that affects the brain, the body, and behavior. People with depression often feel tired all the time, lose interest in things they used to love, and struggle with even basic tasks. But depression doesn't just steal your energy, it can shorten your life. Research shows that people with depression are more likely to develop heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. They're also at higher risk for suicide, which is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Physically, depression slows down the immune system, raises stress hormones, and increases inflammation, all of which raise the risk of serious illness. And because it often affects motivation, people with depression may delay getting care, leading to worse health outcomes overall. 1. Chronic stress. At number 1 is chronic stress, the kind that doesn't go away. Whether it's from work, money problems, or constant pressure, stress that lasts too long is incredibly harmful. When your body's always in fight or flight mode, it doesn't get a chance to recover. Chronic stress affects every system in your body. It raises your risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and even cancer. It shrinks your brain, damages your memory, weakens your bones, and messes with your hormones. It can also trigger autoimmune diseases and speed up aging. What makes stress especially dangerous is how common it is. We treat it like a normal part of life, even when our bodies are breaking down from it. And because the symptoms build slowly, people often ignore them until it's too late. So what does all this mean? It means that emotions matter, not just for your mental health, but for your survival. Your body hears everything your brain says. When emotions like rage, grief, shame, or stress take over, they don't just make life harder, they can shorten your life altogether. But the good news is, emotions can be managed. With support, therapy, lifestyle changes, and better awareness, you can protect your health from the inside out. If this video helped you think differently about emotions and health, hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos.